All right, welcome to AIWF Mid-Atlantic Breakdown. This is episode 13.
Oh, lucky 13.
Yeah, yeah, lucky 13. I want to start out by saying that I apologize to everybody. I have not been able to do anything with the footage from the show this past Saturday, April 5th in Mount Airy because I've just been so busy. But technically, it's not going to air on the Mid-Atlantic episodes for a few weeks anyhow, so we're in good shape.
We're in good shape.
But it wasn't a bad show. Good crowd.
No, no, it was very good crowd. Had some technical difficulties. I guess I shouldn't have talked junk about Ivanhoe because we had our own technical difficulties. So I guess that's what payback.
Well, in your defense, our technical difficulties did come from trying to upgrade equipment
Yes.
at the last minute.
Yeah, so we're working on that. So Brian has to work this weekend, so I'm gonna spend some time trying to figure that out here. So exciting things coming from the production aspect of it. So, but the show was good. Like once we got the first part was a little rough on us and stuff, but after intermission we got rolling. So
Well, yeah, the thing about it is all indie shows, every indie show anybody has, I don't care from top to bottom, you know what I'm saying? Like whether you're running a community center or a high school gym with names all over the card, there is issues a lot
yeah,
because I mean, you don't have multi-million dollar equipment and you're not paying people hundreds of $1,000s a year to make sure everything is top notch.
right.
So,
You know,
you're going to have issues but you know what? We've been doing it for 33 years. So we figure out how to overcome the issues and
yep.
we may not be as high tech as some, but most of them high tech ones don't last nowhere near as
Mm.
long as we have. So
Well,
I
and
don't
we're
care.
getting ready to move pretty high tech if I can figure all this stuff out. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm excited about that.
I seen you posted a picture on Facebook with some of the new
Yeah,
equipment, and everybody's like, "Oh, whoa,
yeah, I
take a
am
step
super
back."
excited about it. I really take a lot of pride in doing this at AIWF. So I really want to make a product that looks good. So I'm working on it. So
Well, yeah, and like I said, we may not be as high tech as some people who pay, production companies to come in and do theirs, but then again, 33 years, so your
no,
opinion don't matter to me.
no. Well, I really feel like, I was just talking to Brad about how I feel like our show looks just so different than everybody else's. Like, you do see people like that record their shows, but, I really, I think we have a unique, not only from being around so long, we have a really unique situation um, of an indie show that's really putting a lot of work into the production, which
Right, and
yeah.
well, and another thing, there's so few indie promotions out there that actually film their show the way we do and make episodes out of it. Most of the indie footage I see on social media or on the internet is from somebody's cell phone out in the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, usually. And then sometimes the angle isn't quite where people may have wanted the angle to be. But but
But
no, I
we put a lot of work into ours that most aren't willing to.
yeah.
But we've always done that.
Yeah,
For
we
30
have because
years we've done that.
I mean, we've talked about it before, like, we've always put out some sort of show, whether or not it was on Martinsville or if it was on Mount Airy, or, once we got on the internet and stuff like with the cyber zones, like we've always consistently tried to put out a show. And I think the evolution from the camcorder attached to a VCR, maybe was that what it was back in the day? I know it
No,
was wired,
well,
but
we did use a camcorder, but now I'm gonna tell you right now, Brian can tell you stories because he was there when we used to edit videos with two VCRs.
that sounds like a mess.
It,
But
it,
yeah,
we made music videos with 2 VCRs with stop and record and stop and record. Brian and Brad showed me how to do that.
That's funny. But yeah, we've always, to me, it's not just about like the actual like show that day. I mean, that's important, but I feel like, it's like you should have a whole package, not only of an entertaining live show, but also an entertaining show that you can watch on YouTube and
Yeah.
stuff. So, and like I said, you've been making shows like that since 33 years. So we're moving on to technology now. So.
Yeah, and like I said, when you literally have evolved from 2 VCRs to what we do today, to me that's a whole lot more impressive than somebody paying a production company to come in and do all this fancy stuff. We've always
Yeah.
done it ourselves. We've always took pride in doing it ourselves. That way we control the content. We control what goes out. It's our, if it's a mess, it's our mess. By God, if it's great, it's our bragging rights.
Uh-huh.
And but also the stuff that we do. I will tell you this: the Mid-Atlantic episodes get probably the most, if not the top 2 or 3 most views on the AIWF network.
Yeah,
So we have a very loyal following.
We do. And that's one thing. Speaking of that, we could talk about Vladimir Koloff was saying, he was very impressed with the Mount Airy crowd.
Yes.
And he I think he the way he was talking to me sounded like he's never been around a show with the kind of fans that we have.
That's what he come back and told me. He said, man, y'all's fans are just amazing. I said, well, we've been, I guess, grooming our fans for 30 years.
Yeah. And it's one of those places that, people come and the people that have, worked all over the place and they always say like how great working in Mount Airy is, like, and the crowd we have. So we take pride in those people and pride that they keep coming back. So must be doing something right.
So speaking of Vladimir Koloff, he done pretty good the other night. I mean, honestly, we've had Nikita. Ivan Koloff was the Koloffs have been a staple with the AIWF for years. Ivan Koloff versus Wahoo McDaniel back in 1993, I think it was the very first show we had with names on it.
Oh, wow.
And it was Ivan Koloff versus Wahoo McDaniel. Because, Wahoo was a mentor of mine for years.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me so much in this business. Ain't a lot of people out there can say that Wahoo McDaniel took them under their wing. I'm one of the very few that can say that. But, and then Vladimir actually worked for us some in the 90s. I think it's late 90s. He'd come in for some stuff, I think, after he'd had his Smoky Mountain run. And, then we had Nikita this past year at Deal with the Steel in August. And then Vladimir come back last night. So pretty much every Koloff in that Koloff line has worked for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun to sit around and listen to him talk about stuff. That's one thing I feel really lucky about with what I do now is being able to kind of sit in there sometimes with these legends and just listening to them talk. It's just they always have such great stories and great things to share, and I feel very lucky to be able to be part of something like that. So I'm very I don't know, not nostalgic. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood.
Did you hear the Ric Flair 25 grand story?
I did. Okay. I did.
I'm glad because I couldn't retell it on here.
No, 25. It sounded like it was 25 plus 25.
Yeah, 25 plus 25 is what I heard. So
yeah,
I had never heard that until this past week.
But I find that fascinating, and also enjoyed. I won't reshare, but the story about Mark Ash, like that was.
No, we won't. No, there's some stories you just don't retell.
No, you don't.
So, but yeah, I'm with you. I love sitting around and listening to the old stories because a lot of them, a lot of stories they tell is back from when I was breaking in. So, they mean a lot to me. But there's something else I was going to say. Oh, the game. Did you ever figure out the game?
No, I meant to, and I got busy with other stuff, and he threw out a bunch of names. So I'm just gonna have to Google. I'm just gonna have to Google the game sometime. So
It's like a Legends of Wrestling board game.
yeah, or card game.
Card game. He said there's cards. It's like a board game. So if you're listening to this and you're interested in that, Vladimir Koloff is in the second volume. He said the first volume of the game come out in like 2018, 2019, something like that. And now they're coming out with a volume 2, and he did.
I wonder if it's this one. Now I'm Googling while we're Legends. Well, this one says 2002. Maybe that's the first one. I don't know. I'll have to research it because that one says it's a card game. I don't know. I have to research it and find it so we can get it, out there and let people know how to find it. But it sounded very interesting. So
let me see. I'm looking. Somebody is trying to get in, and they said it said invalid meeting number. So let me do this right here.
Yep. Very close. You're very close to the camera. Very close.
Well, I'm trying to take a picture of the screen. So I can get him in here.
This should be interesting. That's who I think it is. We can get them on. I don't think you're going to be very happy to talk to this person if they get on.
I'm going to try to maintain my composure. So we'll see. I sent that out. We'll see if that works.
Mm-hmm. But
there's so many different ways. There's different ways to get into to these Zoom meetings. I sent the request out, and there was some issues. So I sent him the same thing I send you every week.
Yeah, you need to just have a link. There should just be a link to send.
Well, there is. It tells you to copy the link and then send that link. They're supposed to be able to click the link and it'll let them come in. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. But anyway, maybe we get into that because he's going to be actually, if we get this person in here, he will be the first one that, I've been wanting to do these, have the wrestlers from the legends, I guess, from the AIWF the past year to come in for the past 30 years to come in and tell stories and blah, blah, blah. Well, he can tell stories from then and now.
Yeah, he's got his foot in both eras. Yeah.
So he'll be a good one to start that with, and there's a lot of other ones out there that I am going to get to. I don't know if you've seen.
I did. I saw a lot of people saying that they want to get on. There were even some names I didn't recognize. That piques my interest also.
Yeah, because I'm interested in the stories they can tell, and no, you're not supposed to tell them in the message thread. We want you to come on here on the call and participate with us.
Yes.
So that's what we're looking for. So I'm hoping he got that message.
I do think that your minion was very busy Saturday night. So.
Oh, Jesus. In all honesty, I'm going to have to start letting my good friend Seth Clayton Burns handle a lot of that out there. I'm just going to be backstage. Aha! We got him. You want to go ahead and bring him in?
Yeah,
we'll go ahead and bring him and talk a minute, then we'll take a commercial. How's that?
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's see. All right.
Oh, got him.
Hello.
Unmute. Can you get your video going?
Now you got to click the little video thing.
Click the little video thing.
Oh, I see.
There he is.
There we go.
There we go. I was able to get in.
Jimmy Valiant, Boogie Woogie Man.
Legendary Boogie Woogie
Man. Wait a minute, baby. Wait a minute. Hang on.
What are you doing around
What was that going there, buddy?
This is our neighborhood.
You done made young man's game.
You should be retired, Boogie.
Wait a minute, boys! Let me take a bite of my king dog.
You say king dog?
King dog?
Is that what you said?
What happened? Come on, boy.
Don't let hunger bully you. Get yourself a king dog, and you too can become a super hunger fighter.
Secondhand Heroes and Home for Wayward Villains is a comic book shop and gaming store that also features Magic the Gathering and D&D. Located at 18184 Leesville Road in Evanston, Virginia, Secondhand Heroes is your one-stop shop for you to get your nerd on. Open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. They don't close until the dice stop rolling. They buy, sell, trade, barter, and haggle, specializing in collectible toys, both vintage and modern, comics, Magic the Gathering, video games, console, and arcade cabinets to play, all set to free play. Host your game night with us. Monday night D&D video game competitions, and so much more. Something for the collector and gamer in us all. Call 434-317-0121 or shoot us an email with any questions to secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. Note, secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. That's 2ND, handheroesva@gmail.com. Come game with us. Tease Treats is a food truck service that operates out of Mount Airy, North Carolina. They serve decadent, delicious ice cream treats, hot dogs, chicken tenders, chicken sandwiches, nachos, funnel cakes, and so much more. They can be in multiple locations at the same time, available for festivals, athletic tournaments, concerts, or any gathering. When it comes to delicious quality and reasonable prices, you can't go wrong with Tease Treats. You can find out more about Tease Treats at facebook.com/Tease Treats, or you can give them a call at 336-755-8204. You'll find out that Tease Treats are not only the best concessions in wrestling, but the best concessions anywhere.
Well, I'm gonna let you do most of the interviewing there, Reagan. But we like we talked about before you came in. We want to talk about what's going on now. I'm going to try to be as objective as possible, but we also want to hear about some stuff from back when you first came into the AIWF.
Yeah, so we can start there because we have been wanting to talk about some because you're the first person that we've had on now besides Justin Flash, who has really been part of both eras of the AIWF, the our early 2000s. Where we were very focused on, hardcore stuff and things like that. And now transitioning into the AIWF now, where we're, we still do the hardcore stuff, but we've moved into, different types of wrestling stuff. So I was going to have you quickly say, because, not everybody might not know, like a quick, background on how you came to the AIWF, like some of the things that you remember from then, and then we can transition into Trash and Rick Diesel. So,
all right. Well, appreciate y'all having me on. It's been a week. I had to get a little calm down from Saturday night, so been a lot of training, a lot of a breaking of blocks, and a lot of violence, just control. But we're working on it. So. But yeah, going back to, I think 99, Chris Tenney is the master historian. So he knows all the dates and all that good stuff. But I'm pretty sure it was around the 99, 98, something like that. It
had to have been around 99 because Chris Tenney, he was here when they did the BBC documentary.
Was that y'all's first match? That was their first match.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was 99.
Yeah, that was 99 in Westfield with Don Carson and Brian, and that was where the ropes broke, and Don, being Don, used the ropes as a weapon, and that's when Brian and Chris had that blood fest That
Yeah, that
picture,
was
I
blood.
still have that picture of both of them, and they're just covered. I mean, they're redder than this wall behind me.
Yeah,
And
they were
that
that picture. Are you
really,
talking about the picture where Chris is pulling
yeah,
Burke's face like that? Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
that is a
exactly
good
it.
picture.
that
Yeah, that
terrified
was,
the people from the BBC.
yeah,
They did not know. They talked about that for months after that.
yeah. They were just terrified. They didn't know what the hell was going on. They were scared to death. They was, and we were like, "What are you scared of?" You know, Chris has got blood run off. I think I had some blood on me. But yeah, those guys, they didn't know what they got into. But yeah, that match was the first match was that one, 6-man tag team match. But like I said, we got trained by, Brian, and Reagan was there, Robbie Evil, Don helped, and they come, if you recall, Jumping Jimmy. I mean, he helped us. I remember body slamming him on the dojo floor, and he said, "Holy shit, y'all take falls on that?" And we were like, "Yeah, we do. We body slam each other, or we do throws and stuff like that." But
Yeah, a
so
lot of
we
people
were,
don't realize that you guys started training at the dojo on
yeah,
the martial arts mats.
we had been in martial arts for years, me and Chris, and then we got in with you guys. And I think the first show we did was a benefit show. I can't remember who it was that had cancer, and that sucks that I can't. But that show was a benefit show because you brought us in. There's the karate guys versus the wrestlers, and all the proceeds went to that person. I can't remember who that was,
You
and that
remember
made
that,
me
Brian?
mad.
Brian doesn't remember either, so it's
Yeah.
probably the CTE that keeps us from having that.
Yeah,
memory.
well, I've been slammed and I went through 2 or 3 surgeries, so I got a couple excuses too. But anyway, God bless whoever had cancer. Y'all did that show for them, and it was a good show, and we had a great time. I mean, we loved it, and the BBC was there, and that become history. So,
Do you know that? Like I said, I'm going to do good tonight. So y'all be good to me. But I got a message on Facebook just last week from a guy who watched the BBC show.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's like, "You guys are awesome." I'm a big fan, and he was from England, and it's amazing because I've never told you and Chris about the time I went to England back in 2020.
no, you didn't.
I went over there with Kevin Phoenix, who was defending the world title, and I went over there with him, and we went to a show, and all the wrestlers avoided me. I walked back in the dressing room, they wouldn't talk to me. And I thought I'd offended somebody. I thought, oh, that's stupid Americans coming over here trying to take over. So I went to the promoter and I said, "Have I done something to offend these guys?" And he said, "No." He said, "These guys are just in awe of you." I said, "What?" He said, "You guys, that show changed wrestling in England. That documentary," it was his words, swear to God. He said, "That documentary changed wrestling in England." And he said that me and Brian and the guys that were on it were stars over there, and the guys were afraid to talk to me.
That's great.
That's
I never
great.
heard that.
But once
man.
once he told them everything was fine, they all just sort of gathered around me and shaking my hand and talking to him. Won't know if Brian still paired socks.
You just
Yeah,
said, "Hey."
I stumbled upon. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, "Hey, don't make me bring you out that barbed wire folding chair while I'm over here."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had run across a Reddit last year where somebody was posting wanting to know updates on the people. So I updated them on it. So yeah, fun time. So and one thing that I always appreciated about Chris and Richie was they kicked my ass just as much as they kicked the guys' asses. So I was always real appreciative of that, I guess. I was telling Darren, we were talking about Saturday night, we were talking about some of the chops that Richie was given and how tough they were. And I was telling Darren that Richie actually kicked out my wisdom teeth one time. So.
Yeah, but you can blame Diesel for that because he pulled you in the way of that one. That's all his fault.
There we go. So there we go. Always
it goes all the way back that far. He pulled you in the way of that kick, and that kick was rough. I mean,
It
but
was
I mean,
rough. I think there's a picture of it.
I really, I'm sorry. I will take and tell you I'm sorry. I was aiming it for him. He pulled you in the way, but it did save you some money in the long run. So
Yeah, it did. At least it was my wisdom teeth. So
yeah,
I do like to tell that story for some reason. That's one of those things where people look at you like you're crazy when you talk about stuff like that. But that is one
if
of
you
my.
can take some of the stuff that we went through, I don't care how old you are, you still got it. It's in you. I know it.
Oh, me? I don't know. I'm pretty old
Yeah,
now.
you. It don't
I
know.
think
You
I
got
probably. I don't know. So Chris and Richie
Hey, let me
went
tell
through
you
the
something.
ranks of.
For over 30 years, whether it be unwanted dental work or mad wives and girlfriends, I have been blamed for everything in this business at one point or another. I've been blamed for breaking up marriages and relationships and
well, that comes with the territory, I guess, man. When
yeah,
you're
it does.
the promoter there.
You get used to it after a while.
Yeah. So they went through one of our most violent times, but we last year Chris had been inducted into the Hall of Fame 2 years prior, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 2021 because that was the year that I almost died. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say that was the year
yeah.
you were really sick.
Yeah.
And so we went to induct Richie, or Matrix. People know him both ways. He's
Yeah.
and so we had a very unique deal with this. I can't talk. I've lost my train
Hall
of
of
thought.
Fame.
Hall of Fame
Yeah.
induction. Oh my God. And we had Corey Etzel came out and bought and ruined your induction, but it really led to you guys being in a really good place with the company again, which was kind of, usually we don't see people come through the Hall of Fame and then be able to step right back into the ring so successfully. So that was a testament to you guys. And then you got our tag belts and you defended them, and you've done I think you went through your gauntlet match at the anniversary show, and things were looking really good for you guys. And then we had Saturday night, and there were a couple of hiccups, to say the least. I know that there's a few people we could blame. We could blame, Matt Anderson or Seth Clayton Burns or Mickey Fulp or Rick Diesel or these things. So talk to us about that match and kind of what it was like to go through that match and to have the ending you had.
Well, first off, I didn't know we had 6-man tag team titles, because it was 3-on-2. So, I had people ask me, hey, when was y'all the 6-man tag team champions too? Because there was 3-on-2. I was like, they were making the rules as they went. We put an open challenge out because we really championships. And while he was doing that, I looked at the Grim Reaper in the eyes twice and survived. So there ain't nothing on this planet that scares us. I mean, once you survive death, everything else is a joke to you. I mean, he was right in my face about to pull me. I was septic. The doctor said, hey, you should have died twice already. And I was like, well, God's not done with me yet. And so anyway, I come back to your point with the match. So we come out and we figured it was going to be a tag team match for the belts, right? So then it turns into 3-on-2, which I don't really understand how that's a tag team title match, 3-on-2. And then it turns into no DQ. And then Mickey Fulp, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to do the right thing for the fans. He's trying to change himself. And then you get the little weasel or Freddie Mercury's son, Seth Clayton Burns, running around. And, everybody hates his guts, including me. And I really feel sorry. I ain't felt in a long time. And that's bad. Me and Tenny's tried to stay out of everybody's drama and their BS since we've been back. We just come back. We took care of business with Corey Mecca, won the belts. Was like, hey, we're going to stay to ourselves. We're going to be defending honorable champions. We're going to do what's right for the fans. We're going to be good examples. We're going to be the better person, the bigger person. But I'll tell you what, Saturday night changed a lot of things. Oh, we still do what the fans like. We love the fans. We are here for the fans. But they're going to see a more violent side of those two. Might even go back to the 99s. And then, that might be bad because, like I said, I had that chair on Matt Anderson, and it took two of them to pin Tenny after how many times did the referee blow the count? I had Anderson down for a 10 count one time. Tenny counted 4 to himself. One pissed off. I was pissed. Tenny was pissed, and it's not a good thing.
I think so. I think the problem with Seth Clayton Burns is his ignorance of the AIWF past, because he's poking at hornets that and really though, you kind of have to feel bad for him, because he's being put in this position by Rick Diesel, who knows how the people act and what the violence they can do. So you kind of have to feel bad for Seth, because the real person behind Seth is Rick Diesel. So, I know Seth is annoying and a pain, but I just don't think he knows what he has gotten himself into.
No, he don't, and Anderson don't neither. Anderson's been obsessed with Ty Tyson. Well, guess what, Anderson? Matrix and Tenny are obsessed with you now, buddy. You can chop me all day. I like a chop. I like pain. There ain't nothing more that makes me feel alive. You put a handprint on my chest, by God, I'll give you 2 back. And y'all just seen the look on his face the other night when he gave me a chop that would have knocked most people down, and I was like, not bad. Let's go again, big boy. The fear in his eyes told me everything I needed to know. So I can tell you, all hell is getting unleashed. I've done brought out the kendo sticks. We've done found toys we didn't know we had.
Wow.
And it's gonna be violent times. Seth Clayton Burns, the minute that you think you're safe, I will pop up like the sneakiest ninja you ever seen, and it's gonna be bad for you.
Rick, don't you feel a little sorry for what you're setting Seth up for?
Seth Clayton Burns, look, I said I'm gonna be nice, but Seth Clayton Burns is a very intelligent man. He will be fine. He surrounds himself with people who will watch his back and take care of him. He's no dummy. So you ninja all you want to, but he might samurai right back.
That's fine. Somebody double dragons a long time ago, and that stuck pretty hard. But dragons always rise to the top, brother. So let me ask you this: how do you defend them having a 3-on-2 match and it being a tag team title match? Oh, and by the way, several wrestlers in the back told me they seen Smiley with a roll of cash that Seth Clayton Burns had put in his pocket.
I don't know nothing about that. Smiley just came back. I know the ladies are happy that he's back. So who knows? It could have been tips that the ladies was giving him out in the parking lot, for all I know. I don't know nothing about that.
That was paid off for those slow counts that happened in that match. Hell, I could have counted to 10 one time with Anderson. I was on top of Anderson, but we don't cry over spilt milk. We just keep going. So I just really, I thank for that, because the violent side of me, when I got a hold of that chair, it's like venom. It just started oozing back out.
Well, I will tell you this: Smiley's never been mistaken for Sonic the Hedgehog, not once. So,
that is a true statement.
As Brian pointed out, he is very consistent with his slow count.
Yes.
So whenever you get it, it will be a slow count, but you have to. One of the things you're going to have to learn if he's going to be your ref is you have to understand his count cadence. So
we got a little over about 4 minutes left. So what I would like at this point is for Richie Matrix to take a couple minutes and tell us a story from the past that nobody else would know that you remember from back in the day.
Well, I'll tell you this one. The best memory I have is dealing steel, and I'm pretty sure it was 99, maybe 2000, Westfield, North Carolina, in the cage. It was me versus Enigma was one match. That was a good match inside the cage. God rest his soul. Enigma was part of the family. He's a healthy, good dude. And then later that night, it was Chris Tenney and Daniel Mays, I believe, and flipping off the cage time. And then Neil Leathers and me versus Brian Reagan, and I think there was somebody else in that match. So Neil Leathers was messed up, if you will, and that's putting it lightly. So, I had to kind of even take him out once.
That Neil Leathers being messed up could mean anything.
It's very funny that you bring up this story, because the only scar I have from wrestling is from that match. And I don't want to take away the veil of matches, but I was trying to take care of some business, and I know that, Richie let them know that I was trying to take care of some business, and he still kicked me in the back of the head. And so that's the only scar I have, right across like this, like a mouth. So I think it's funny that's the memory you brought up. So
I remember running and jumping on the table to do a jump spinning back kick, and the table collapsed, and you power bombed me through the other one or something, went like that, but it worked out. I mean, the table collapsed. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna wipe out. And you turned it into a pretty move and everything, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that was one of my highlights, I think, of when I was wrestling. I think we had a lot of good matches that really kind of set the tone for that time. So that's a good story. I like that one. So
yeah, I enjoyed that whole night. That was great. That was a great show and everything. And by the way, when we were in that gauntlet match, we went through 3 teams, and we were down to the Hardy Boy wannabes. One of them went over there and disrespected you, and what happened to him? We laid him out. Now, we might have lost our temper, but he disrespected you, because we had planned on winning that thing and then going and winning those world titles. And we're not done with that either. Those Duke boys, they got it coming somewhere down the road, if we have to go to Connecticut and find them. But just so you know, we did the right thing there.
I know, I'm too old to fight battles. I can't do those anymore. I would die. So.
As the shirt says, the disrespect stops here.
Well, Richie, thanks for stopping by. Well, we only do about 30 minutes on this show, so that way we don't drag it out so long and everybody can get on with their lives. So, but we'll have you back on sometime, and maybe we can get Chris on here sometime to tell some stories. I know he's got some. Jesus Christ. But
yeah.
But anyway, thanks for stopping by. And for Reagan, I'm Rick Diesel, Reagan Danzig, Richie Mitchell. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and we'll see you next week.